Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for our countdown to the state of the Commonwealth. I'm Rachel Platt. I'm the Vice President of Mission at the Fraser Kentucky History Museum, also a longtime journalist. And in both of those professions, one thing that I absolutely love is having dialogue and conversation. So lucky me, I get to be here tonight and have two very special guests that I want to introduce. Welcome to John Y. Brown III, the former Secretary of State, and of course, a family deeply steeped in Kentucky politics and service to this state. So thank you for that. He started the JYB3 Group, that is a public affairs consulting firm. You're going to have all sorts of insight for us tonight, so we appreciate it. And also welcome Dr. Felicia Cummings-Smith, president of the National Center for Families Learning, a lifelong educator, certainly a catalyst for change for Kentucky's education system. And we also want to let people know, tapped by Governor Andy Beshear to be part of Team Kentucky Pre-K for All Advisory Committee. I'm going to have really specific questions for both of you all coming up in just a second as we count down to the state of the Commonwealth. But I want to start just in general terms. What you all are thinking the governor is going to focus on tonight. If there is a theme tonight, what do you think it's going to be? And I'll start with you, Secretary.
Well, I think, most recently the governor has been put a great emphasis on pre-K for all. I think that'll be a key theme. I think giving sort of just a state of where things are with the economy, his priorities going forward, not just in education, but in healthcare, where we have some challenges now that we didn't have a year ago, and we're having to navigate them. Infrastructure issues. We have the Brent Spence Bridge, which is a historic, will be an historic achievement for this governor, and will continue into the work will continue into the next governor's administration as well. Public safety, but I think, as the governor likes to say, issues that matter to everyday people every day. It won't be a partisan or abstract, but I think concrete kitchen table issues that people that affect our daily lives. I think that's what makes his approach to politics so appealing, and we'll see more of that tonight.
And Dr. Smith, do you agree with that? I know at one point I was reading where the governor said, let's take the noise out of this. Let's go to real life concerns of Kentuckians. Do you agree with Secretary Brown there?
For sure. I'm in complete alignment with what he said. I think one of the things that I have appreciated most from this governor is that he just speaks about the things that matter to Kentuckians. Everyday issues, childcare issues, preschool issues, education, but also things that are going to help children and families just get a better start and come out of some of the challenges that they've been facing over the course of the year. So I appreciate that this governor will really bring home issues and really speak to the Kentucky people around some of the challenges that we face and the opportunities ahead.
One thing that's interesting, when he speaks tonight, he will not be doing it from the Capitol. Of course, it is under renovation. So tonight he's going to be from the Thomas Clark Center for Kentucky History. We think that's at least a first in recent history. Will that change the vibe at all, do you think?
Well, it has to. It's unique and historic to be in front of both chambers, giving the State of the State and budget address, which he'll combine tonight, and doing it in the History Center will change the vibe, but the governor will deliver as he always does.
Well, let's talk about that, because you mentioned the budget address and the state of the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
What is the state of the Commonwealth exactly? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
When you say state of the Commonwealth, then we'll separate the budget address in just a second.
Sure. The State of the Commonwealth is very much, it's the state version of the State of the Union, which we're all familiar with when the president gives the annual sort of the state of things in the country to both the Congress and Senate. We do that at the state, and the governor gives sort of an assessment of where we are, sort of progress report. And then also talks about what some of our challenges are and where he believes we need to focus our attention going forward. So it's sort of a summary of how things are going, and a bit aspirational too, about where we can go and how we can get there.
I guess in summation, it really his goals, what he cares deeply about, those kinds of things?
Things to be celebrated, things that are working well here in the Commonwealth, and then things that, where there are areas where we need to grow and strengthen what's happening for Kentucky children and families. So I think this is an opportunity to reflect and also think about what needs are still lie ahead.
And I guess really his vision statement.
Yes.
Very much so.
And
yes.
what he cares about, those
Yes.
kinds of things. We're going to talk a little bit more about education in just a moment, but you mentioned the governor's final budget address. This is it, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. So State of the Commonwealth each year, but budget address every two?
Right, every 2 years, and this is for 2027 and 28. And so it'll be a bit of a legacy speech too, I suppose. And I remember when my father was governor, he told me that the budget address was the most difficult speech that he'd ever given. He said, try to imagine creating a spending plan for an entire state for 2 years. And he said, it's just really overwhelming. And a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of thought goes into this. And former Governor Mario Cuomo in New York said we campaign in poetry and govern in prose. And this is the prose part.
All right, because then from there, what happens? Once the budget address, this is really just the starting point of negotiations, right?
That's right. It's the starting point, it's the outline, and then the legislature takes over and they do their work and craft the budget.
Is it back and forth? Is it?
Yes, and the governor sort of sets the stage, sets the tone, and then the legislature takes over, and then we have a long, challenging process because you have, infinite needs and requests and finite resources to meet them. And at the end of the day, the final budget is really, it is about dollars and cents, but it's also very much about values. What does the state value? What did we prioritize? Where did we, emphasize helping the most? Who did we choose? And who were the winners and losers, so to speak? And you try to minimize the losers, but it's a daunting task and it's a tough task. And I give credit to everyone involved because you have to make really tough choices. And you have to ultimately fall back on what you think is most important. And again, even though it looks mundane and about dollars and cents, if you look even closer, it's about what we value as a state.
We talked a lot about that healthcare, infrastructure, education, economy, jobs, all of those kinds of things, and those real life worries of Kentuckians. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about this pre-K for all. We know that you have been on that committee. You're a member of the Team Kentucky Pre-K for All Advisory Committee. Tell us what that committee has been doing, because it's town halls. It is deep into the state, right?
Yes, it was. And in June, the governor signed an executive order to create the Pre-K for All Advisory Committee. The charge to the committee, which was of 28 people, was to study preschool here in the Commonwealth, but also learn what's happening across the country and bring those lessons learned to recommendations that we would forward to him to determine how the state can advance and expand pre-K for all 4-year-olds.
So only 18 states in the country have pre-K for all.
That's correct.
Kentucky obviously is not one of them. That's what we're hoping to get to. So tell me what you do then. What are the next steps for that? What do we have now if it isn't pre-K for all? Explain that.
We have publicly funded preschool, of which this legislature has funded every year. And then we also have private pay preschool. Preschool is offered to 3 and 4-year-olds. Right now, those that are eligible based on income, and they're also eligible based on disability. School districts also have some discretionary in determining how many students they can bring into preschool. But then parents oftentimes go to private preschool settings as well. So there's a bit of a fragmented system in the state, and the goal is to create a more unified system of support for childcare and preschool.
Because the challenge is some of the stats that we have, that more than half of the children on their first day of school are not kindergarten ready.
That's true. That's true. And this is one of the major issues that many educators really can get behind. But what we found as a committee, when we went on all those town hall meetings or launch meetings across the state, and then Sam Flynn, who is the executive director of this work, has met with over 60-something constituent groups. What we found is that everyone can get around preschool for all. Over 93% of Kentuckians are in favor of preschool for all and expanding what is currently in place.
So you usually don't have consensus like that on anything, right?
That's correct.
So that 93%, we need to say that again, because that's a big deal.
That's correct. And you mentioned 18 states have gone before the state of Kentucky, and those are Republican-led states and Democrat-led states. And this is really about nonpartisan issue. Everyone can get around this because we believe that investing early really matters. And one of the things that I know as a former educator and now as a nonprofit leader is I have seen young children who have arrived at school who have had very limited experiences. And those experiences, those early opportunities really matter. Kentucky also is a state that has a lot of childcare deserts all over the state, and we know that preschool for all could expand access so that more children can be a part of early learning experiences.
You mentioned those deserts. 79 out of 120 counties, nearly 2/3 don't have access to enough child care.
That's correct.
What does it say, I guess, about a state? To me, investment in education in children. What does that say about a state? Secretary, let's start with you on that one.
Well, a lot of times when you're making decisions, you want to make investments where you can see immediate return on investment. Mm-hmm. And I think with education, it's a slower and longer return, but nothing is more important. And so it's a tougher case to make, and there's more variables involved. But I think the data is there. We're seeing the value, and this is a measure that can, I think, improve the lives of Kentuckians for decades to come. But it's a significant investment, and it seems like risk, but less risky than it did when we were talking about it 15, 20 years ago.
That's right.
Because the data is there, and we if you, again, going back to the comment about our budget document being about values, investing in our children, any state that's investing in its children, I think, reflects the kind of values of the state I want to, that makes me proud to be part of.
Well, what are those tangible steps that, with your recommendations from this committee, to get us there? What do we need to do? What are the two, like, if you could say two top things? Give folks an example of what it is we need to do.
Well, I think one of the things is ensuring that people are aware of the recommendations that have been submitted to the governor, then having the legislature rally around a unified support. We know that the chamber has also submitted some recommendations for child care, which is from birth to age 4, and then this would pick up at age 4 for kindergarten readiness. So having a unified system and recognizing that there needs to be some policy to support and resources to also support pre-K for all is really the next step. So getting policies in place, getting the resources in place, as you mentioned earlier, there are going to be some tough decisions that the legislature have to make, and investing early on is a far better investment than what can happen on the back end. And we know that preschool allows for longer lasting impact that also impacts how well adults are in once they get out of the system. And young people who the data suggests young people who have been to preschool are less likely to have to need additional services once they become adults. And so they are contributing well to their community. They have better health care and take care of themselves better, and they're just less reliant on some of those services. So investing early makes a difference. The data is real, it's there, and we know it can have a long-standing outcomes.
You've been in the trenches, you've heard the feedback. Are you hopeful?
I am hopeful. I believe the legislature will do something. It might be a compromise of what we see in the pre-K for all recommendations and the other recommendations. But, you know, getting there is going to take some time, but we can do it as a state, and our children deserve it.
And I was going to say, with your father, was education a priority, obviously, with him as well?
It was. It was sort of tougher economic times then, and you couldn't succeed yourself. And he would say afterwards, had he had the opportunity to have a second term, which he did run for after sitting out, education would have been more of a priority. But I can think of no greater legacy for Governor Beshear than this.
Yeah.
We were talking about that, and we're going to talk a little bit about how these addresses help cement a legacy. You think education will be one of the facets, though, of his legacy?
For sure.
Tell me about that.
You know, I was at the Kentucky Department of Education when his father was in governor, and I saw that firsthand as well. He was committed to education, and this governor has just stepped right in and just continued that legacy. This is a priority for him, and I believe that it's not just about pre-K, it's also about the future of the Commonwealth and the workforce that, you know, is created as a result of that. Parents going back into the workforce. Many parents have to stay out because they just don't have adequate childcare. So getting people back to work, putting more money into their pockets, and having an educated Commonwealth is critical for the success of this state.
And the governor's father was for pre-K.
He sure was,
too.
yes.
And but you know, the old saying, nothing's more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And perhaps this is the time.
I agree.
We think, but it's been discussed for many, many, many years. So maybe this, if it can get across the goal line there. I want to talk a little bit about historical perspective and how important these addresses are in cementing the legacy of a governor. Your all's thoughts on that?
Well, I think that there's a lot of symbolism and a lot of, you know, practical significance too. I mean, you know, if you really want to go through the history from, you know, the 30s up through the 80s, governors were extremely powerful in most states, especially in the South and here in Kentucky. And legislators were part-time, more so than today. We had legislative sessions every other year. But as they became more professionalized, which was, I think, a good thing, they became more of a co-equal branch and played a larger role. And it became more important for the governor to reach out and work well with the legislators. But for many decades, the governor would sort of set the agenda, and because the governor was here, you know, 365 days a year, and the legislature was in session 2 of those, 4 years, they didn't have the kind of influence that they do now. We have the LRC, so it's, and we have wonderful legislative leadership, and they have the same goals. It's just a matter of how do you achieve them. Different, everybody has different means, and that's what you have to sort through and try to find agreement on.
Any thoughts on that as far as cementing a legacy?
I think we will look back and say this governor has been for the people and has supported people all across the state during really challenging times, and has also given people hope across the state. So I feel like this is an opportunity for him to solidify all that has been accomplished here under his leadership and what can be celebrated and how it's moved the state forward.
And it is important. It's important for all of the traditional reasons, but I think this governor's legacy is already so well cemented as a governor who cares and shows up over and over and over again. And that's what I hear day after day from people across the state, is he's there for them and he cares. And it's not for show, it's genuine. And it's day after day, week after week, month after month, now going into his 7th year. So people know he cares. He knows he has their interests first and is fighting for what matters to them day to day. And we'll just see a continuation of that tonight.
And fighting for all.
Fighting for all. And you mentioned that word hope, which leads right into this one question. Final hopes for our beloved Commonwealth as we move forward. If it could be your hope, what would it be?
I love our state. I've spent my whole life here and I'm going to die here. And I love our people. I love our regions. But we don't have points to give away. And we need to work together and come together as a state. I think the governor does a wonderful job of doing that, reminding us that we're all Kentuckians. We're all in this together. Let's come together and to move our state forward in simple but meaningful ways. And I think that's the right message. And if we can do that, I'm very optimistic about our future.
And I would add, I think about our state motto: united we stand, divided we fall. And I believe that the governor has demonstrated leadership. I believe that he has been a person of his word. I believe that he has taken action. And as he mentioned, he's cared for all Kentuckians. And I can see the progress and growth that's occurred over the last few years, and believe that we are in a much better place as a Commonwealth. And we care for one another. And again, I believe he cares for all.
One final question. Has there been a common thread of issues that resonate with Kentuckians throughout the year, do you think? I mean, so many times it's the economy, but but with everything that we've been through, I mean, you mentioned, there have been a lot of challenges. There's been COVID, there's been all sorts of things. What, I guess, would you say the common thread of issues that you think are core to Kentuckians that you all have seen out in your travels?
Basketball.
You had to get that one there, right?
And now football.
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
What do you think is going to resonate with Kentuckians?
I think, with COVID and now we have some additional healthcare challenges that we're navigating, especially with rural healthcare, but also opportunities. And with every challenge, there's opportunities. And part of being a Kentuckian is we don't give ourselves adequate credit. We have a lot to be proud of, and when we come together, we rise to the occasion, and we can do great things. And I think we'll do that again with these issues, and we'll find ways to navigate through these challenges. Like I said, we have great leaders. These are good people who make great sacrifice to come to Frankfort and try to make decisions that are in the best interest of all the people of Kentucky. They're smart people, they're good people, they really they give their all, and I don't think we appreciate that enough or thank them enough. And I think the governor is a great one. Well, yeah, but and I'm very proud of that, but I'm proud of all of our leaders. Just because we don't all agree on the means and methods of things doesn't mean that we're not all trying to make Kentucky better. And I think we are. Yeah.
Final word?
I would say education and the workforce, and ensuring that all Kentuckians have an opportunity to prosper.
Very good. Well, thank you all so much. Your insight, your perspective as we get ready for the State of the Commonwealth address. You all were wonderful in helping set it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
very
it.
much.
Thank you all. And next is the governor.
Hello and welcome. I am Silas House, and I'm honored to be your MC for the 2026 State of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth of Kentucky is blessed with a wealth of natural splendor that nourishes us in so many ways. We have a bounty of resources that have powered our nation's rise and continues to put food on Americans' tables. But I believe our greatest natural resource is our people, who display their consideration, compassion, and care every single day. I am so proud to be a Kentuckian, and I know that all of you gathered here tonight are as well. To begin with, I want to invite Pastor Corey Shull of Burnett Baptist Church in Louisville up to say an opening prayer.
Please join me in a word of prayer. Shall we bow? O God, our help in ages past, our hope in years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast and our eternal home, we pause to give thanks to Thee, great God, maker of holler and hill, molder of limestone and red clay, master of rivers that remember our names from generation to generation. We pause to give thanks to Thee. Thank You for challenge and triumph. Thank You for the opportunity to create a stronger, more inclusive Commonwealth for future generations. Thank You for making it possible for us to be present in this very moment in time. We gather in the spirit of this Commonwealth, born of cabins and courage, of coal dust and quilts, of hands that worked the soil and voices that sang freedom before it was fully heard. We ask that You bless this moment of remembering and imagining. As the poet farmers of our Commonwealth has taught us, help us to love what is local, not out of fear of the world, but out of care for one another. Teach us again that to belong is to tend, to stay, to repair what has been broken and refuse the lie that damages destiny. In the spirit of Wendell Berry, we acknowledge the stories carried in Kentucky's hills. Like bell hooks, we remember stories of enslavement and survival, of migration and making home. As Georgia Davis Powers taught us, we remember the mothers who whispered hope into tired ears and children who learned early how to be strong and soft at the same time. We ask Thee, O God, to let no policy forget them, to let no future be built without them. Remind us that justice without compassion is hollow, and progress without care is cruel. Anchor our debates in dignity, steady our disagreements with grace, shape our power with responsibility. We ask Thee, O God, to bless Governor Beshear and all entrusted with leadership. Give them clear eyes to see what is, brave hearts to confront what must change, and humble spirits to listen, especially to those whose voices have been too often dismissed and silenced. May this address be a commitment to the common good. May it honor the land beneath our feet and the people who rise from it every day. Teachers and miners, nurses and farmers, dreamers and doers, elders and children. And when we leave this place, may we carry Kentucky with us, not just as a state on a map, but as a promise we keep. We ask these things and so many other things that burden our hearts in the name of Anselm's unmoved mover, in the name of Jeremiah's balm in Gilead, in the name of Ezekiel's will in a will, in the name of Merton's compass. Amen.
Thank you so much for those beautiful, powerful words, Pastor. While we gather here tonight as Kentuckians, we must also remember we are all Americans. We are more alike than we are different. And to remind us of this bond, we're joined by Hopkins County Judge Executive and Air Force veteran, Jack Whitfield. I welcome Judge Whitfield up to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would please stand for the pledge.
Thank you, Judge. And thank all of you for being here for this important event this evening. Tonight is a night to look to our future, to lay the groundwork for where we are headed as a people. But it's also a night to reflect on our history. That makes this building a perfect venue for tonight's speech because we are gathered at the Thomas D. Clark Center for Kentucky History. I was really fortunate to know Thomas Clark. He was a true gentleman, one of our greatest writers and historians who preserved stories of those who came before us. He documented the lives of all who lived and died along the Kentucky River that winds nearby, those who worked the fertile ground here, who forged our way of life and passed down traditions that live on in us as Kentuckians today. It is the work of each generation of Kentuckians to decide how best to honor the heritage and legacy we've inherited and how best to chart the way forward. So tonight, together, we will use this moment to take stock of where Kentucky is at the dawn of 2026, as well as the path forward. Friends, neighbors, Kentuckians, to lead us on that way, I'm very honored to introduce to you the Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Andy Beshear.
Up in Pocahontas, in the cranberry glaze. Ain't got bars nor the charge to call her anyways. My mind's a mile a minute, and my thoughts bark like hounds. I focus on my breathing and the universal sound. I think about my darling girl sleeping all alone. I pray the stars will shoot her all the wishes she can hold.
Members of the General Assembly, Lieutenant Governor Coleman and Secretary Adams, Justices of the Kentucky Supreme Court, former Governor Steve Beshear and former First Lady Jane Beshear, our amazing current First Lady, Brittany Beshear. And to every Kentuckian and every American watching from home, good evening. Tonight, I'm speaking from the Thomas D. Clark Center for Kentucky History here in Frankfort, as our state capitol undergoes its most significant renovation in more than 70 years. The renovation is a reminder that our great democracy at times can buckle, and that cracks in the foundation and stress on the joints can threaten our very future. Because our democracy, our way of life, even the stability of our Capitol building is not guaranteed. Instead, it takes work, effort, and cooperation to sustain, strengthen, and leave a thriving state and a functional country to our kids and our grandkids. Every generation has a solemn duty to safeguard this great experiment that has persisted for more than 250 years. That means every generation must roll up their sleeves and do the work. Over the past 6 years, our people have been putting in that work to secure a brighter future, and we've been doing it together. Together, we're building a future where every Kentucky child can achieve their Kentucky dream, no matter how big. Together, we set an example for all of America, a state where officials are both Democrats and Republicans, a state that's both urban and rural, a state that stretches from the Appalachian Mountains to the Mississippi River, yet we found a way to work together, to find unity, and to succeed. That's why folks around the country are no longer looking down on Kentucky, they're looking up to us. They're looking to find hope beyond the chaos, and they're finding that hope right here. While our national politics has been poisoned with division, here in the Commonwealth, we've won as one team, Team Kentucky, by pushing out that noise and finding common ground to move our state not right, not left, but forward for everyone. We've done this by recognizing the most important things to our people. They're not partisan. They're not even bipartisan. They are nonpartisan. A good job, affordable health care, safe roads and bridges, good schools, safe communities. These aren't red or blue issues. They're just what every Kentucky family wants, what every Kentucky family deserves, and what our American families demand. To keep succeeding, we must remain focused on what matters most, our people and bettering their lives. And that's why I remain optimistic about what we can continue to accomplish together. This is my 7th State of the Commonwealth and my last budget address in this job. So tonight, I am proud to report once again that the state of our Commonwealth remains strong. But our people, our Commonwealth, and our country are facing serious new challenges, and it's our job to meet this moment. For the first time in my lifetime, a large portion of the American public is questioning one of the most important foundations of our country, the American dream. The American dream is as simple as it is powerful, that if you work hard and play by the rules, you can get ahead. You can build a better life. You can leave your kids better off. For generations now, my family has lived the American dream. My grandfather, who couldn't afford to go to college, worked hard, saved up, and bought the local funeral home. Through that small business, he was able to do what his parents couldn't. He was able to send his kids through college, one to med school, another to law school. And then their children, myself included, had even greater opportunities. But today, too many American families feel this dream is just a hallucination. The cost of groceries and health care are too high. The family vacation they took as kids just doesn't fit in the budget. That first home for a young couple is unaffordable, maybe unattainable. As leaders, we have a responsibility to reignite and refuel the American dream. For the sake of future generations, it must burn bright in the minds of our people. So tonight, I'm going to discuss the American dream, both where we're succeeding and where we must do more. The American dream starts with a job. It's what supports a family and drives our economy. I'm proud to say that no administration has created more. Last year, we delivered once again, announcing more than $10.5 billion in private sector investment and creating 9,600 new jobs. That's the second best year in the history of our state. And that means that this administration has had the first, second, third, and fifth largest years on record. Over the past 6 years, we have become an economic powerhouse, more than doubling Kentucky's previous investment record, with over $45 billion in new investments. For our families, for the American dream, we've broken our job creation records with 68,000 new jobs. But not any job will do. Because while the American dream is about working hard, it's also about getting ahead. So our people deserve good jobs. Jobs where you can not only pay the bills at the end of the month, but you can save for your kids' education, for retirement, for the down payment on a new home, and for that summer vacation that you deserve. That's why I'm proud to report that we have recruited the best jobs in our history, with the highest 3-year average for new wages we've ever seen. Last year, our average incentivized wage was just under $30 an hour. And despite national headwinds, despite the damages of President Trump's tariff policy that both of our U.S. senators and this governor strongly oppose, Kentucky's economy is still growing. According to a recent Moody study, Most states saw their economy slow and even slide into recession last year. But in Kentucky, we're still expanding, showing our nation what an economy built to last looks like. Take a 10-day window in August, where we welcome more than $6.3 billion in new investment and over 1,000 full-time jobs. 4 iconic companies, GE Appliances, Ford, Apple, and General Matter, all chose Kentucky. On August 11th, GE Appliances announced the investment of $3 billion in new American manufacturing and the creation of 800 new Kentucky jobs. CEO Kevin Nolan shared that when it came to writing the next chapter for GE Appliances, it needed to start in Kentucky. He said, "We're making this commitment because we believe the future of manufacturing is in America and here in Kentucky." We have representatives from GE Appliances with us tonight. Let's thank them for this big investment. Just 2 days later, Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford Motor Company, announced a nearly $2 billion investment in Louisville. It's going to revolutionize Henry Ford's assembly line and create an affordable EV from Kentucky that can compete anywhere. He said Ford's goal was to put an affordable, unbelievably great product within the reach of millions of Americans, built in the U.S. by U.S. workers. Who'd he trust for this massive, game-changing investment? He trusted us, Kentucky. His exact words were, "We made a big bet on our country, and we made a huge bet on the Commonwealth of Kentucky." Also in August, General Matter announced a $1.5 billion investment in Paducah. This company is going to change our nation's energy economy in profound ways and bring modern nuclear power to our state. Their project is already creating interest up and down the supply chain, with the possibility of future companies making Western Kentucky their new Kentucky home. Now, some will be surprised that I mentioned this investment tonight. Now, it's true that some of the company's investors and I don't share the same politics, but we do share a commitment to get this job done and to strengthen our nation's energy economy. And we know one simple truth: there ain't nothing Democrat or Republican about a good job. This is how we find common ground. This is how America is supposed to work. Leaders from General Matter are here with us tonight. Let's welcome them. Folks, that was just 10 days. Over the rest of the year, we saw great announcements like NITO, creating 220 new jobs right here in Frankfort. Alta Alloys and Shinsung USA, 95 jobs in Simpson County. Paragon Metal Fabricators, 40 jobs in Pendleton County. Toyota and Steel Blue Components, 163 jobs in Scott County. Lockheed Martin, 70 jobs in Fayette County. Sazerac, 50 jobs in Taylor County. Louisville Brands, 210 jobs in Jefferson County. Morris Packaging, 276 jobs in Marion County. E. Hoffman Packaging, 165 jobs in Hopkins County. And in Glasgow, we celebrated some great news when we closed a deal in person in Ireland with Tate. The company's $61.2 million project is the largest announcement for Barron County in 18 years. It has 400 new jobs. Maureen Carpenter, the president and CEO of the Barron County Economic Authority, is here with us tonight. Maureen, thank you for all your work. This is a huge win for your county and our Commonwealth. Kentucky, our job creation efforts are being recognized nationally as we secured another top 5 ranking for economic development. That's now 5 straight years of being in the top 5 in the country. And we've been congratulated by the toughest of critics as we secured 3 credit upgrades which say Kentucky is on the upswing. The products we make are being sold all over the world as we have broken back-to-back our record on exports. Of course, I can't miss an opportunity to thank our hard-working unions. Being pro-union creates jobs. It creates opportunities. And our unions have fought for the American dream longer than I've been alive. In Kentucky, we've proven you can be pro-job, pro-business, and pro-union. Everyone wins together. So that's a lot of good news. But often on sunny days, there are storm clouds on the horizon. Bad tariff and trade policy are impacting our national economy, slowing or pausing many projects, and other states are shedding both investments and jobs. That means competition will only intensify. We'll have to work even harder. That's why my proposed budget begins with job creation. It contains $70 million for site development to create build-ready, job-ready sites. It contains $100 million for large projects that just need that last bit of infrastructure or an access road to say yes. And for the first time, it includes a $25 million rural economic development fund to bring jobs to areas that have been so close but haven't had that big announcement yet. We must invest there because you should be able to live the American dream in every part of our state. A good job is where the American dream starts, but a home is where it lives. Our homes are where we raise our families and make our memories together. Sadly, owning that home seems out of reach for far too many Americans. In Kentucky, we're doing better than most. Last year, Kentucky scored as one of the best states in the nation for home affordability. We've been recognized for our efforts not just to build affordable housing, but to build housing in Western and Eastern Kentucky for those impacted by natural disasters. In Western Kentucky, we're building 254 homes for tornado survivors through our relief fund. And I announced the single largest affordable housing investment in our history with $223 million going towards 953 rental units. In Eastern Kentucky, we've embarked on the most ambitious rebuilding effort our country has ever seen through our High Ground initiative. With 8 communities underway, this initiative will eventually bring more than 500 new homes to Eastern Kentucky. 2 sites are already complete, Wayland in Floyd County and the cottages of Thompson Branch in Letcher County. Robbie Williams, the Judge Executive of Floyd County, is here with us tonight. He can share firsthand how a bold housing initiative like our High Grounds can transform a region and its future. Great work is continuing at our other High Ground sites. Homes are springing up at Chestnut Ridge in Knott County and New Hope in Floyd County. And people like Samantha Turner are already moving in at Skyview in Perry County. See, Samantha was volunteering at the Hazard Airport in 2022. She was helping flood victims as they stepped off a National Guard helicopter. In 2025, her home was destroyed by a similar flood. But last year, I got to walk her through her new Kentucky home in Skyview. Now she'll never have to worry when it rains. While these efforts are amazing, they're not enough. To preserve the American dream of owning a home, Kentucky needs a big, bold investment now. It can't wait, it can't be incremental. So I'm proposing a game-changing $150 million investment in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Combined with private dollars that create $1 billion of new housing. We must tackle the shortage in housing and we must do it now. While most dreams at night are short, the American dream is about a long, healthy life where you can raise your kids and eventually spoil your grandkids. That's why we've continued efforts to expand healthcare to keep our people healthy and happy. Our people are healthier and our workforce is better when every Kentuckian can see a doctor close to home. Late in 2024, we opened Norton West Louisville, the first hospital in West Louisville in 150 years. In its first year, the hospital served nearly 60,000 Kentuckians. Norton West Louisville is changing lives through increased access to quality care, something every person deserves. Let's thank the Norton team, including Russ Cox and Corinza Townsend. Since 2020, we've also opened the PMC's new Children's Hospital and its Appalachian Valley Autism Center. These facilities serve over 100,000 children, covering 23 eastern Kentucky counties. These services are critical and they're life-changing. Before these investments, parents in eastern Kentucky were told the best thing they could do for their kids was to move. That is wrong. No Kentucky family will ever have to hear those words ever again. We've also broken ground on or opened a new Ava Center location in Floyd County, U of L Health in Bullitt County, the Birch in Owensboro, the Mercy Health Lord's Cancer Center in Paducah, Baptist Health Hamburg in Lexington, the new Reach Clinic in Mason County, and we celebrated Appalachian Regional Healthcare's new mobile clinic, which is bridging the gap between hospital visits and house calls. We haven't just expanded access. We've also expanded coverage. I was proud to expand Medicaid to include dental, vision, and hearing. That's resulted in 267,607 Kentuckians receiving glasses, 16,274 Kentuckians receiving dentures, and 675 being fitted for hearing aids. When it comes to our fight against addiction, we continue to make meaningful progress that has saved lives, reunited families, and created safer communities. We're now up to 35 recovery-ready communities, and I've banned harmful drugs like designer Xanax and deadly forms of kratom. The result? Drug overdose deaths have now gone down 3 straight years in Kentucky, thank God. We also recognize that mental health is just as important as physical health. Since I've taken office, our number of mental health professionals has nearly doubled. Our efforts to rebuild our state-run healthcare exchange, Connect, have been hugely successful. Last year, nearly 100,000 Kentuckians enrolled, the highest number in the past decade. And as of last month, safe, regulated medical cannabis is now available in the Commonwealth. Sadly, a lot of that progress is at risk due to decisions at the federal level. Decisions like Congress voting yes to extend tax cuts for the wealthy, but voting no to extend tax credits for working Americans to afford health care. And the impact of the president's big, ugly bill is going to hit Kentucky the hardest. It could close 35 rural hospitals, fire 20,000 healthcare workers, and eliminate coverage for 200,000 Kentuckians. That ugly bill, it also cuts nursing scholarships at a time when the shortage threatens the quality of care our families receive. The combination of these federal failures threatens the American dream with lost jobs, higher costs, shorter lives, and longer drives just to see the same doctor. That's why my budget pushes back, investing in our people and our health care. My budget fully funds Medicaid, even with the increased cost. It provides $100 million to lower the cost of coverage on Connect. It expands the number of Michelle P. waiver slots for families of children with special needs. It includes $25 million for nursing student loan forgiveness, and it creates a $125 million rural hospital fund. We simply cannot allow our rural hospitals to close, and we cannot accept a future where a Kentucky woman must travel several hours just to give birth. Tonight, we have a real-life healthcare hero with us, Dr. Jason Smith, the CEO of U of L Health. Jason's shown courage leading through COVID-19, speaking out after mass shootings. And recently, he spoke truth to power, writing an op-ed titled "Medicaid Cuts Threaten Lives, Jobs, and Kentucky's Future." Jason, please see this budget as a reflection that Kentucky believes in you, and we believe in healthcare for all of our people. The American dream doesn't begin with success. It's a journey towards it. The path that leads us there are the roads and bridges across our state and our country. Whether it's to work, church, a doctor's appointment, or dropping your kids off at school, our infrastructure is essential to our daily lives. Since 2020, Team Kentucky has replaced or repaired 660 state and local bridges. During that same period, 20,000 miles of road improvements have been completed or are currently underway. We celebrated some big wins over the past year, finishing the US 460 corridor in Pike County, a project 23 years in the making. In early November, we cut the ribbon on the completed approach to the I-69 Ohio River crossing, which is going to open up new lanes of commerce in our state and in our region. And this year, we began construction on the final stretch of the Mountain Parkway through the heart of Appalachia. It's been talked about for decades, but now I can say I'm the first governor to say every portion of the four-laning of the Mountain Parkway is now complete or under construction. The American dream is rooted in hope, but it can be extinguished through fear. So public safety is everyone's job, a job where we work together, where we not only make our people safer, but they feel safer at all times. As a state and as a country, we don't accomplish this by stunts in the short term. We accomplish it by putting in the work for the long term. We do it by hiring more law enforcement and paying them better. By protecting our children online and on our streets, by reducing recidivism, and through the best natural disaster response in the country. When I came into office, our Kentucky State Police force was dwindling. The previous governor had attempted to cut promised retirements, and morale was low. So we rolled up our sleeves, increased pay, and made real changes. Now the full KSP agency is up to 1,896 team members. We put in, We put in that same effort in training local police and sheriff deputies. Now Kentucky has 8,000 local law enforcement officers protecting our streets. We opened the new Western Kentucky Law Enforcement Training Center, which had its first graduating class of 21 officers. Even better, tonight, we have the top graduate of that class, Brianna Ray, now a sheriff deputy with the Hardin County Sheriff's Office. In October, we announced the good work of our state police in protecting our children. Since late 2019, they have arrested 474 online child predators. That's 474 predators that'll no longer threaten our children. Let's give KSP, the Child Crime Task Force, and Brianna a big round of applause. Making our communities safer, it's about more than just arresting criminals. It's about preventing crimes altogether. When a crime doesn't occur, there's no victim, no families left grieving. One way we prevent crime is by working with our inmates to ensure once they're released, they do not violate again. Last year, we did that securing another record low recidivism rate. A good part of that is thanks to our efforts to provide second chances and real job opportunities. It's not just the smart thing to do. My faith teaches me that second chances are what we're called to do. So last April, we announced more than a dozen new vocational programs in our prisons. Inmates are receiving training in CDL, construction, cosmetology, HVAC, and painting. But it's time to take these efforts to the next level. So we've teamed up with the Kentucky Community and Technical College System, and together with President Ryan Quarles, we're seeking funding for a nonpartisan, game-changing project, a re-entry campus that will make our people safer and make Kentucky a national model. I want to thank our Council of Second Chance Employers who are working together to help continue this important progress. Making our people safer also means having the best emergency response to natural disasters. We've had far too much practice with 14 federally declared weather disasters, a pandemic, helicopter crashes, mass shootings, and a major plane crash. Last February, our state was hit with another devastating flood. In the end, 25 of our fellow citizens were killed. In early April, much of the state endured even more flooding. This time we lost 7 Kentuckians. In May, an EF4 tornado struck through southeastern Kentucky with 19 children of God taken far too soon. And if natural disasters weren't enough, we suffered the catastrophic UPS plane crash in Louisville. We lost 15 souls to that terrible accident. I want you to remember, these are real people. In response to each of these disasters, our emergency personnel stepped up and showed this country how it's done. Our swiftwater rescue teams were pre-positioned before the floods, jumping into action and making hundreds of rescues. Our National Guard responded time and time again. And in Louisville, 18 different fire departments and 50 fire trucks led by the Okolona Fire Department responded to the inferno, preventing more loss. It's impossible to know why Kentucky gets hit over and over again. But my faith teaches me that God saves his biggest challenges for the strongest of people. And each response reminds me that strength is not bravado, it is not bullying, but a resolve built on love, kindness, and a commitment to our fellow human beings. Tonight, let's recognize and remember all the families that have suffered loss. And let's give a big thank you to all our first responders. Part of the American dream is about us, the adults, doing well. But the core of the American dream is about empowering our kids to do better. As it says in Psalms, children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from Him. Our priority always must be the future, and our future is molded in our public schools. I am unapologetically a 100% pro-public education governor. Every budget I proposed has invested in our school system, starting with our educators. Once again, I'll be doing what's right. I'm proposing $159 million for mandatory raises for our educators and a proposal to increase take-home pay by nearly 7%. My budget also increases education funding per pupil, and it adds $560 million to our teachers' retirements. But that leads me to the most important choice in this session for our future, our businesses, our families, and our children. The single most effective way we succeed in this next budget is by funding pre-K for all. Right now, more than half of Kentucky's kids are showing up to kindergarten already behind. They come to school with fewer vocabulary words. Some don't know their colors. Others aren't even potty trained. Most Kentucky parents can't afford pre-K. So many of our neighbors want to return to work but simply can't afford childcare. And at a time when things cost too much, pre-K saves parents thousands of dollars every year. And one study shows it boosts parents' earnings by nearly $9,000 per year for at least 6 years. Over time, pre-K is projected to grow Kentucky's workforce by up to 70,000 people. And studies show that for every $1 invested in pre-K, we get $10 cycled through our economy. It's clear, Kentucky needs pre-K for all. And the members of the General Assembly, we were able to work together on medical marijuana, to make sports betting legal, to protect horse racing and gaming in our horse industry. Surely we can come together for 4-year-olds. And for those that say pre-K for all is political, let me remind you, 4-year-olds can't vote. They're not registered. So if you're against this because you think it gives me a win, what you're really doing is handing these kids a loss. Pre-K for all is the right thing to do, so let's get it done. Our state is on a roll. But with the challenge of tariffs, national uncertainty, and more, life's gonna be a little tougher than in the past. Without action, Kentuckians are gonna suffer. So in addition to our proposed investments in housing, jobs, and healthcare, tonight I have 2 more proposals to help our families. First, my faith tells me no one should go hungry. The miracle of the fishes and the loaves is one of the only miracles that appears in each of the first 4 books of the gospel. That tells us it's pretty darn important. But the actions by the Trump administration to the SNAP program are going to result in soaring costs, and 114,000 Kentuckians are going to go hungry from losing their food assistance. We can't let that happen. That's why my budget provides $50 million to help our hardworking Kentucky food banks do more. Let's give a big round of applause for Feeding Kentucky, their network of food banks, and everyone working to end hunger in the Commonwealth. Second, we cannot let our people freeze in the winter or suffer heat stroke in the summer. My budget creates a $75 million fund to help at-risk Kentuckians pay their utility bills. I'll close tonight with a grand understatement. We live in chaotic times. But in such times, I hope and I pray that God grants us the wisdom to see beyond the anger of today's politics to the possibility and the promise that tomorrow holds. And even in chaotic times, we see the goodness of our people. If you need proof of that, look at Trooper Jude Ramillion, Jimmy and Jessica Alexander, Taylor Hall, and Adam Arnold. These heroes exemplify this goodness. When Trooper Ramillion was shot while protecting Kentucky, Jimmy, Jessica, Taylor, and Adam did what we all hope we do in a life-threatening emergency. They stepped up, they stepped in, and they helped save a life. They didn't ask Trooper Ramillion about his background, his politics, or even which basketball team he roots for. They just helped him. Scripture tells us you see that his faith and his actions were working together, and that his faith was made complete by what he did. Some of these good Samaritans are here with us tonight. Let's show them our appreciation. We always come together in times of need. And that's what makes me so proud to be a Kentuckian. In Kentucky, we've turned down the temperature. We've worked together because our people deserve a government that unites instead of divides, that works for the good of all of us instead of creating an us versus a them. If you walk into the construction project that is our state capitol, you'll find a statue of Abraham Lincoln. His Gettysburg Address is on a plaque on the wall, another reminder that our democracy is indeed fragile. President Lincoln said to his countrymen, "We are not enemies, but friends. Though passion may have strained it, it must not break the bonds of our affection." While the national media fixates on the rage, we focus on results. While social media lifts up the angry and the judgmental, we must amplify kindness, acceptance, and empathy. This polarized moment in our history, it won't last forever. And like Lincoln all those years ago, Kentucky can lead the way out of the darkness and into the light. It's our job, it's our duty, and we cannot leave a broken country to our children. So as we repair our state capitol, let us also repair ourselves, our communities, and our countries. Remember, your neighbor's not the enemy from within. She's just your neighbor, trying to do her best in this difficult world. This moment in our history, how we conduct our business today, is going to determine how future Kentuckians view us. Did we favor division or unity, discrimination or inclusion? This is the moment we've been entrusted to navigate. So let's stay focused and deliver a 2026 filled with prosperity and promise. Thank you. God bless the Commonwealth of Kentucky. God bless the United States of America, and good night.